Very good afternoon and welcome to Hänty-Mансийsk. We pick up the biathlon, the men's pursuit in the early stages. Sven Fischer just going through 2.3 kilometres. Apologies for the lack of an intro. The ice skating going on a little longer than expected, but we're going to get all the shooting here in Hänty-Mансийsk. This is the penultimate individual race of the season, and the yellow bib leading the way, having won the sprint yesterday. Sven Fischer in the driving seat as far as taking the overall title is concerned.
Well, and he's certainly looking comfortable out there. He had that margin to set out, 22 seconds ahead of Ryschenkov. But 2.5 kilometre loop today, coming into the range 4 times. The first 2 times the lying down position, his last 2 times in the standing position.
Well, you picked up the familiar figure of Oleina Bjorndalen going through. A lot of them wearing very thick balaclavas today, protecting the faces from the cold. Big contrast from yesterday, and you can hear the squeaking of the snow. That happens when you put the pole in, and when it gets really cold, even the skis start squeaking. And it's an indication, Mike, that they're having to work a lot harder today than they did yesterday.
Well, they won't be too happy about that, I'm sure. This is the 31st race of the season, and it's 105 days ago since the first race up in Bajterstolen, so they really are beginning to suffer out there, and some suffering more than the rest.
So here comes Fischer into the range area for the first time. Let me just tell you that in the overall standings, he's currently on 880 points. If you take away the points that he's going to have deducted after these 2 races coming up, he loses 21, so he's effectively on 859. Bjorndalen on 827, 31 points behind. So it's a big advantage in the overall towards Sven Fischer. He also leads the pursuit standings, and well, the chances are that he's going to win that. He's only got to finish in the top 4 today, and if Bjorndalen doesn't win, then Fischer is pretty safe. So Fischer for the first shoot, much colder, which tends to spread the fall of shot.
It does. It affects the steel, the makeup of the barrel, less accurate the colder it gets. But Sven Fischer, as usual, not wearing gloves. Bjorndalen's pushed hard out there. Has he pushed too hard?
Was 35 seconds behind at the start of this one. One mistake from Sven Fischer, so that really gives Ryschenkov and Bjorndalen a chance to close up. And Bjorndalen has thrown it away with the first shot and the second shot going wide. Not a good start, and the third shot going wide. Bjorndalen is in a bit of trouble. Not the sort of form we saw in Hogfilsen just a week ago at the World Championships. He is, of course, the world champion in this event. Ryschenkov from Belarus had his best race of the season yesterday, and he started well today with a clear shoot. So is Denis Zemlya, the Ukrainian, Mike. The Fra of France, we expect him to hit 5 out of 5. He's done exactly that, but a little bit of bad fortune for Zhang of China.
Also, Sherazov, look at that, he's missed 4 targets. He was trying to move up. If you push so hard in the first 2.5 to try and pull back ground, you really are risking coming in way over your normal ability to shoot.
Well, you think that's what's happened to Bjorndalen. He was 35 seconds down at the start of this race, and he closed that to less than 15. So gaining 20 seconds over the first loop to Sven Fischer. That's pushing your luck a bit.
It's pushing your luck, especially when Bjorndalen's even beginning to admit that he really is feeling the fatigue in his legs and his body.
Further down, Carl-Johan Bergman of Sweden, a good clear shoot from him. He's had a very good season. I think we're going to see him maturing even more next year. He could be a threat to the top 3 or 4 in the World Cup standings, currently lying down in 14th. Now, here are the leaders. Fischer, after paying 1 penalty loop, still has the lead. Ryschenkov is back into second position, and the biggest climber in the early stages is Denis Zemlya of Ukraine, who missed 3 rounds of the World Cup earlier in the season. Through the halfway stage of the men's pursuit here in Hänty-Mансийsk, and Sven Fischer still has a lead despite some pretty ropey shooting on the first shoot. 1 penalty paid. He cleared all the targets on the second and comes in. And Ryschenkov for Belarus also having a very good run. One of very few men to be clear at this stage. A chance then for Ryschenkov to take his first win of the season. Looks very focused. Impressive run yesterday in the sprint to finish in second place, just 22 seconds down on Sven Fischer. Now that's an indication that Ryschenkov is not only shooting well, but he's skiing very quick in addition. Looks like the pulse is settled at 160.
Hopefully we're not going to see a similar meltdown as the relay at the World Championships for Roshenko. Oh, that's 2.
Now Fischer and Defrat and Darius Emliot have a chance to take over from the Belarusian now, who is frozen on shot number 5. Oh, well, he lets it go, and he's let it go wide. So 3 misses for Roshenko. 450 extra metres to ski after the first of the standing shoots. Sven Fischer taking his time on this standing shoot. He knows just how important this is. Darius Emliot, 4 out of 4, throws the last one wide. Now, Sikora and Fischer. What's happening with Sven Fischer, Mike?
Well, he's taking his time, and I think that's a sensible strategy. Yes, he managed to get it. No point. He's feeling tired, does not want to go onto that penalty loop. Certainly no more than 1 penalty.
4 penalty loops already skied from Bjorndalen. 3 on the first shoot, 1 on the second. Now, is he going to tidy up on the standing? Doesn't seem to be in a panic yet. Won't enjoy racing in these cold conditions. And he's got 5 out of 5, so is Rojkov. So both Bjorndalen and Rojkov join the leaders, and Bjorndalen, Mike, getting a massive cheer. They really do appreciate what he's managed to do. Darius Emliot, likewise, he's a popular figure around here, racing for the Ukraine. And Sikora goes out, Rojkov gets a huge cheer as well, so it's only 15 seconds separating the top 6 positions. Now, who else from the chasers could come through? Chepikov perhaps throwing his chances away. Bergman having a good run.
Bergman certainly having a good run from start number 11.
And Egil Hjelland, one of only 5 men to have won the pursuit events this year. He's gone clear. He won in Östersund earlier in the year. Started 8th, went to 1st. He started 10th today. Wolf of Germany, more misery as he suffered in the relay down in the World Championships last week. Ferry has gone clear, so the Swedes enjoying a good end to the season. And, well, I don't think they'll be forgetting that medal from Anna-Karin Olofsson at the World Championships in the mass start.
No, that was a great achievement for Sweden, and you can feel the ripples going through the Swedish team. Bergman focused today, and so is Bjorn Ferry. He's the only other athlete to have had the perfect 15. Bjorndalen increasing his pace out on the track. Look at that.
1 and 2 through kilometre 9, and Oliana Bjorndalen of Norway has taken the lead for the first time. Interestingly, his ski speed being matched by only 1 man, and that is Darius Emliot of the Ukraine. He indicated that he was on good form yesterday with a great result in the sprint, coming second, and he's now lying in second place. Rojkov also going well for the Russians. He's made a lot of ground in this event. As we mentioned earlier, Raphael Poré not racing, so he's given up the chase for the world overall title. I think it was a lost cause anyway, with a bad race yesterday, finishing down in 21st. Oliana Bjorndalen, Mike, knows he's got to win this, but he's got to pray that Sven Fischer makes mistakes on this last shoot. Now, and we've talked about, and we've got a load of messages coming in from Victor and Mimi and loads of people interested in the situation. Many people objecting to the fact that 3 of the results are detracted from your score at the end of the season. Now, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a valid comment, because Oliana Bjorndalen has missed a number of races deliberately, going to the World Championships, etc. I think it's a good thing, because if any one of these athletes, and it does happen, has a major drop in form or equally are unwell during the season, I think it would be unfair to penalise them to take away 3 worst results.
Now, we did have a suggestion. I know you've got a list of the emails that have come in, saying that, well, maybe Bjorndalen should have his worst scores taken away rather than his worst results, because when he's not present, he obviously scores 0. So maybe they should take away the worst races where he has actually finished in the top 30. Do you think that's a suggestion, or?
That's an interesting suggestion. I haven't actually seen or heard that proposal, but I think that's quite sensible. There is only one person that doesn't attend, and that is Oliana Bjorndalen, so maybe it would make him attend more and more of the World Cup races.
And I think it's fair to say that the IBU want to make it as fair as possible, and that brings into account the fact that you may lose your health at some stage throughout the winter, and you don't want people racing when they're ill, so that's part of the reason that they deduct 3 of the scores. And they also want to allow for the fact that this is a sport that involves a lot of luck. If you come into the range and a force 9 gale blows through, that's your chances of winning that day gone. So I think that's fair enough. The other point, Mike, is who's the best biathlete out here? You cannot argue. Ole-Einar Bjorndalen is the best one here, and therefore he should have a crack at winning the overall title.
It's a very valid point, but he's suffering now, Patrick Bjorndalen. Der Zemlya is inspired, leading for the first time this season, and they come in almost together.
Final shoot, Bjorndalen 3-1-0, the scores at the moment. Der Zemlya 1-0-1-1, just 2 penalties. Sven Fischer has struggled a little so far today. 5 for Der Zemlya. He's going to have to maintain the ski speed that he's shown. Bjorndalen goes out a little slow to gather the rifle. That's the first time we've seen him make mistakes, and he's given a 5-6 second advantage to the Ukrainian. Sven Fischer, an important moment for him. He's got to finish in the top 4 to ensure that he wins the pursuit title, and it would pretty much mean that he's going to take the overall title as well. Rojkov goes clear, Fischer goes clear. Excellent shooting standard as they head out of the stadium for the final time. A mistake from Rishenkov, that's a shame. He was skiing so well earlier on. Number 10, Egil Kjelland, surprised to see him wearing gloves, Mike.
It is surprising. That's an indication today. -15, -16. He doesn't normally put his gloves on until about -18, so he certainly hasn't gone gloveless this season.
Bjorndalen, 6.4 seconds to make up on Der Zemlya. I'm very sure we'll see him do that, but he did tire in the later stages of yesterday's sprint event. That was very plain to see. Sven Fischer, Mike, has got to move up into 4th place if he wants to take the pursuit title, assuming, of course, that Bjorndalen overtakes Der Zemlya in the closing stages, and it looks as though Fischer's responding, going ahead of Rojkov as we speak.
Oh, Sven Fischer, well, he's got some way to go, another 200 metres to try and catch Sikora. I'm not sure he's got the form, the power, the ability to do that today. Der Zemlya is still leading. Can he hold on? He's got the main man behind him.
A brilliant run of form from Poland's Tomasz Sikora over the last couple of weeks. His World Championship results, 9th, 10th, 5th and 5th. And, of course, 9th yesterday, so consistently in the top 10 positions. The best form we've seen from him all year. And here he is with a chance of finishing in the top 3 in Hyanty-Mansiysk. He's got a tough task to catch this man. Der Zemlya pushing hard. Here's another man who missed a load of races, Mike. He sat out Antolz, he missed San Sicario, he missed Perkluka, all in the aid of getting a good result at the World Championships.
And that's maybe why Der Zemlya, he didn't quite hit. His form was very good in Hochfilzen just last week, but now he really is at the peak of his form now. Great to see Der Zemlya leading this race.
Bjorndalen closing to 2.4 from 6.5, so he's going the right way. Tomasz Sikora also catching the leaders. Fischer 24.4, he's pretty much in stalemate there. He's overtaken Rojkov, which is an absolutely critical move for Fischer if he's to win the pursuit title at the end of this season, and he certainly deserves it. He's raced every single race this season except for one relay which the Germans didn't enter. And as we look through the scores after that 4th shoot, Ferry and Eckhoff 10 and 11, good results from a lot of the stars that have come into the top 15 this year. We also had a message, Mike, as we watch the leaders. Bjorndalen just going ahead of Der Zemlya.
Interesting is on a downhill, Patrick. He had a good work rate over the top, but certainly he is gliding. His skis, his equipment is giving him a slight edge over Der Zemlya.
Now, Bjorndalen is being caught by Tomasz Sikora. That's certain. And the question is, Mike, if Der Zemlya can stay there, there aren't many men who sprint slower than Ole-Einar Bjorndalen, so I think the Ukrainian still has a chance of taking this one.
Absolutely. If he can just hang on in there, we've only got one more section of downhill, so Bjorndalen maybe increase that just a little bit more. But what can Sven do? I don't think he's going to catch Sikora. And it would be justice for Sikora to get a 3rd or 2nd place today, because his season has been so consistent.
Sven Fischer going through on the subject of the results that get taken away. Andy wanted to know what Fischer's worst results were as we watch Der Zemlya's target. Well, Fischer finished 23rd in Ostersund, 23rd in Antolz in the pursuit there, and he finished 18th in Antolz in the individual. So he didn't enjoy that first visit to altitude, but other than that, his results have been absolutely superb right the way throughout the season. And he started with a bang, and he's pretty much kept it going wins in the first in Oslo, and he's going to get a win. He's already got a win in this last round of the World Cup. Sofian Ekhoff coming through, Mike. Started number 19.
That's a good effort, but look behind him, Bjorn Ferry. It could well be the first time Ferry has shot the perfect 20 out of 20 and moved up from 31st to what, 11th, 12th at the moment. We'll get confirmation of that.
Other big climbers, Yannis Maritz has had an excellent move as well, as we watch Bjorn Dahlin trying to pull away. This is the effort. He knows he's got to get clear before they come into the stadium, and Bjorn Dahlin making every effort. 0.7 of a second. It doesn't come closer than this. The last pursuit event of the season. Bjorn Dahlin desperate to take this crystal globe, but it all depends on what happens to Sven Fischer. Still, they're side by side. Now Bjorn Dahlin switches into that beautifully fluent action, and this is where Derry Zemlya looks as though he's found wanting, Mike. He's losing ground only bit by bit, but there are now 3 or 4 meters between them.
Unbelievable. Look at Bjorn Dahlin. Although Derry Zemlya is catching him, he's focusing, he's pushing his hardest of the whole season, but Bjorn Dahlin is just so smooth and efficient.
Well, up this little hill, they break to the left, and then it's downhill towards the finish. And if Derry Zemlya can be right on the heels of Bjorn Dahlin, as he is now, he may get sucked up and get caught in the slipstream. But Bjorn Dahlin, a lovely turn. That was so smooth, beautifully flat skis, and he's opened up that 5 meters again. It's the downhill ski speed that wins the day for Oleana Bjorn Dahlin.
Well, that's the difference of good waxing, of good preparation. Potentially another victory here for the great man.
Well, he makes it look easy. Win number 12 for the season. 50 points to keep his chance of taking the overall for the year. Derry Zemlya, second today. He finished down in 8th yesterday, so a climb of 6 places. And Bjorn Dahlin really just stamping his authority on the World Tour. And I think he's saying, I may not win the overall, but that wasn't my ambition this year. I wanted to try and win medals at the Nordic World Championships. That bid failed, but you have to give him credit. He sets out what he wants to do at the beginning of the season, and well, if he doesn't achieve it, he'll then switch his attention. Sven Fischer coming in. Rojkov, Rojkov could have denied him the crystal globe, but Fischer gets 4, so the pursuit title goes to Sven Fischer. And well, for a man who's been winning biathlon races ever since 1993, he hasn't missed a year as far as winning goes. And he's done it again this year. 4th place today, having finished 1st yesterday. Limits the damage, but Mike, he only missed 2 targets, so I think Fischer's ski form's starting to fade, which may give us a clue what's going to happen tomorrow. Or I should say on Saturday. On Saturday.
Absolutely. Well, 1 day's rest is so important now. I did mention earlier, everybody's tired. It's cold out here. Recovery takes a little longer, but I think Fischer will be all right. He'll get his energy back.
Good run from Vincent de France, finishing 9. Ekhoff of Norway in 10. Equal time with Bjorn Ferry, who that should keep Bjorn Ferry in the top 20. All these men will get a run tomorrow, except for Rishenkov of Belarus. In fact, we'd better watch the overall standings. He may just have moved up into 30th place in the rankings, and the top 30 entitled to race in the mass start on the last individual race of the season. Chepikov, another good top 15 finish, 12th position today. Hannibal, who had a great run yesterday, Mike, dropping down to 13th.
Well, his shooting was the factor there, Patrick. 3-1-1-0. What has gone wrong with Hannibal's shooting this season? Went perfectly yesterday, but another bad day by his standards.
Ilanenko dropping down the order. Christoph Suman of Austria, 43rd, up into 17th. I think that's the biggest climber of the day. Christoph Suman rounding his season off nicely, having taken the bronze for Austria in the relay event. He was the anchor leg there. Has cast your eye over the results. Matti Simon, Mike, 14th. Now that may just be enough to move him into the top 30. It would be good to see a Swiss representative in the last mass start of the season. Yannis Maritz just behind him. Further down the order, Sherazov, inconsistent this year, but he's still relatively inexperienced. I think we've got a lot more coming from him. Schlesinger of the Czech Republic, 26th today, 5 misses. Zhang, 8 misses, drops down to 25th, having started in 5th position.
Mickey Grice going back, 5 targets. He's lost his shooting form, Grice, and he's lost his ski form as well.
Large Berger, 12th down to 38th. Not a good day for him. And Wolfgang Ferner also losing places. 27 down to 42. 6 penalties paid in all. But the news from Hänty-Mансийsк is that Sven Fischer leads. He still leads the overall, but remember, he's still got 13 points to be taken off his score after tomorrow. And so Bjorndalen, although it looks as though he's a long way behind, effectively is only 30 or 22 points behind as we go into tomorrow's race. So as long as Fischer finishes in the top 11, the title will go to him. Mickey Grice in the top 10 of the standings. Mike, he'll be happy with the way this season's gone.
Absolutely, and Shakura in there as well. And he can be very proud. He's managed to carry his form throughout the whole season.
Well, there are the pursuit scores, and that is the end of the season for them. Only one result taken away, but Fischer still leads. 3-2-6 versus 3-1-7. Fischer just scrapes in. Oleana Bjorndalen in second, Poiré in third, despite the fact that he didn't race here today. Well, that wraps up the men's race, the pursuit event. Still one more race coming today, the women's pursuit, over 10 kilometers. It's fast and furious. And the Russians desperately hoping for a win on home snow.